At kaugnay sa isinasagawang reclamation ng China sa mga pinag-aagawang bahura sa West Philippine Sea, kasama natin ngayon sa studio si Magdalo Party List Representative Francisco Acidillo. Magandang umaga po, Congressman Acidillo. You're also a member of the Committee on Foreign Affairs in the House of Representatives. Why this special interest in this issue? You're a former soldier, no? So, ano to? Is a military and political, diplomatic issue para sa ating bansa?
Alam niyo po, bilang dating sundalo, lahat po ng issue na may kinalaman sa ating seguridad ay binibigyan ho natin ng pansin. Pangalawa po, in my capacity as a member of the House, of course, it is our responsibility that when we receive information that is of interest to the country, dapat ho nating ipaalam ito. That's why I chose the plenary yesterday as the proper forum, not only to inform my colleagues, but also yung atin pong taong bayan. Kasi may nakaambang panganibo talaga sa atin. Okay,
so meron kayong privilege speech kahapon kung saan iginiit nyo na dapat nang pulungin ng Pangulo yung National Security Council, no? To make this a more urgent issue. Pero ano ba talaga ang options ng Pilipinas? We know that we have a weak Air Force and Navy. Ang China is an emerging superpower that will probably match up with the United States very soon. Ang dami nilang ginagawa dyan sa area na wala talaga tayo pang nagagawa aside from appeal to the international community. No? So ano ba talagang options natin? Halimbawa, mag-convene nga ng National Security Council. Ano bang pwede nilang pag-usapan dito? Ano bang options natin?
It is but fit and proper that the National Security Council convenes dahil po sa kasalukuyan, ang ating pong foreign policy when it involves the West Philippine Sea is anchored lamang doon po sa posisyon ng Department of Foreign Affairs. And what is that position? Napapaloob po ito doon sa tinatawag nilang Triple Action Plan, which involves 1, arbitration, 2, a resort to diplomatic protest, and 3, the continuing search for an enforceable code of conduct which will replace the code of conduct na napirmahan noong 2002, hindi lamang ng ASEAN, kundi pati ng China. So, sa akin po, sa pananaw ko, this is a limited, and in fact, I called it yesterday as a no-action plan. Bakit po? Because of this policy of arbitration, pinipigilan po natin ang mga ahensyang katulad ng DND. For example, nautusan ang AFP na ayusin po yung ating runway sa Pag-asa Island. Alam naman natin na lahat po ng suporta na binibigay natin doon sa wawalong isla na ating na isla natin doon sa Spratlys ay nanggagaling ho sa Pag-asa Island. And the only way we can support Pag-asa Island from Palawan is through constant flights na dapat sana magagamit natin itong runway na to. Sa kasalukuyan ho, barko lamang na initiative pa ng mayor doon na si Mayor Bito Onon ang tanging paraan para po ating masuportahan ang ating mga isla po doon sa Spratlys. So, I believe that the National Security Council should convene so that not only the DFA but also the DND with the AFP, the DOTC which has control over the Coast Guard, and even the Department of Agriculture that has control of the BFAR fisheries vessels, as well as the DOE that has a stake in our claim over the energy resources there, shall also be consulted. Kaya kailangan ho natin itong malawakang pananaw na ito para po mabigyan ng gabay ang ating Pangulo kung paano po ito i-resolve itong issue na to sa West Philippine Sea.
Kasi itong sinasabi mga triple action na strategy ng ating gobyerno, which is spearheaded by the Department of Foreign Affairs. It's a diplomatic maneuvers ito. No? Kinasuhan natin ang China sa International Tribunal. We're seeking arbitration. But while this diplomacy is going on, nakita nga natin yung mga letrato, nagpagawa na ng malalaking struktura. Some of those structures daw are as big as super malls. No? So these are airstrips, I guess, military bases, yung iba dyan. No? So, kumbaga, not only can they be launching pads for potential attacks on neighbors, but pwedeng i-claim ngayon ng China, hindi na mga rocks and reefs ito, pero they are islands. Kasi you can create islands in the middle of the sea through reclamation. We've done the same, no? We've enlarged our territory through reclamation. So, yun din ang ginagawa ng China ngayon. So, this has an effect on the international arbitration case. Kasi we're actually, because that would change the whole yung entitlement, yes, no? Yung rights pagdating sa international waters Kasi rocks and reefs would just have a 12 nautical miles. Pero kung
Territorial
ginawa
water,
nilang
yes.
islands ito, full-fledged islands, itong mga reclaimed areas, their territory would be much bigger in the open sea.
Yes, they can actually project a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone out of these soon-to-be islands. Ano? Magandang nabanggit mo yan, Howie, kasi doon po sa ating memorial, yan po ang tawag doon sa final natin sa arbitration court, hinihingi natin sa UN na magbigay ng deklarasyon kung ano ba talaga itong mga bato na ito, itong mga buhangin, and these various formations in the West Philippine Sea. Para po, pag nagkaroon ho ng deklarasyon kung ano po yung mga ito, everyone will be guided now that they can either be managed as entitled to a 12 nautical mile territorial water or a 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone. This is very crucial ho kasi in the case of China, binabago ho nila yung narrative. Ang narrative ho kasi natin, hindi mga isla to. Now, in essence, they are tampering with the evidence. Nung final natin, hindi pa ganyan ang mga yan. Now, they are trying to convert this into islands for what we may suspect are going to be military activities later on. So, napaka-crucial po nitong punto na ito ng ating arbitration kasi wala pa pong nilalabas na verdict. Now, punta tayo doon sa magiging verdict. Ano ho ang expect natin doon? Ako, I'm trying to think forward. Kung if ever lang ho magkaroon tayo ng favorable verdict. Under the rules of procedure ng arbitration, pag naging final na ho ang kanilang ruling, it takes the two parties to it obliges the two parties to obey the ruling. Ang problema ho dito, iisa lang ang partido. Ang Pilipinas lang po ang nagsumite ng kanyang sarili dito sa prosesong ito. Ang China po hindi. So by all indications, in the same way that they refuse to submit themselves to arbitration, they will also refuse to honor the verdict of the arbitration court.
So kahit pabor sa atin yung verdict nitong international court, ibabaliwala ng China because how can they leave their structures? Ang laki na ng pondong puhunan nila dyan. Ano? So, ano talaga yung options dito? Well, sabi mo nga, mag-convene yung National Security Council and the government should decide to upgrade our own facilities so we can project our own power in a way. No? Kasi yun nga, sabi mo nga, yung Pag-asa, parang kailangan ng rehab yung airstrip doon para maka-supply, maka-landing yung ating mga sundalo rin doon. No? But so what? Kung ma-upgrade nga yung military presence natin dyan, well, we can protect Pag-asa better, pero wala na tayong magagawa dito sa mga reefs na to. And I guess it's also dangerous for the international community because alam naman natin na China is claiming this whole region as theirs within their concept of this 9-dash line na sakop yung buong karagatan ng South China Sea, including these disputed territories.
Before I answer your first question, Howie, let's look at what is in store for the rest of the region, when all of these forward operating bases go online later this year or early next year. That will virtually give China control of the entire South China Sea. And they can do this by way of naval and air and naval vessels and aircraft to be operating out of these forward operating bases. And they can conduct 24 hours, 7 days a week, and year-round naval and maritime patrols. Yung nakita ho natin doon sa dispute ng China with Japan, nung sinubukan ng China na magtayo ng isang air defense identification zone over the East China Sea, doon ho sa Senkaku Islands, pwedeng mangyari yan dito. And what does that mean? Not only will we be deprived of freedom of navigation dyan sa area na yan, even the use of the airspace above South China Sea, we will also be deprived of that because precisely it will now be under the control of China. But more immediate, ang tanong mga ano bang magagawa natin? May more immediate concern ho kasi tayo. If we remember, Mischief Reef, which used to be ours, we lost it in 1995 nung hindi natin binantayan ito. Biglang pinasok ito ng China, nagtayo ng mga istruktura, sabi nila para lang daw sa mangingisda. Kung titingnan mo po ang Mischief Reef ngayon, it virtually looks like a military garrison. Now, why is Mischief Reef a concern? It is actually just 41 kilometers away from Ayungin Shoal. Once they operate these military patrols out of Mischief Reef, they can virtually deny any resupply and any reinforcements. Yes.
Yung Ayungin Shoal. So ano naman ang significance ng Ayungin Shoal?
Okay, when they blockade Ayungin, we will be forced to withdraw from there kasi hindi na nga natin masusuportahan yung ating tropa doon.
We only have 8 Marines there around the clock.
8 Marines and a dilapidated landing ship, yung BRP Sierra Madre. Once we pull out of there, tapos na ang boxing. Once we pull out, papasok na ang China. And if we remember, the strength of the claim of China over the entire South China Sea is they premise it on the 9-dash line claim. This 9-dash line claim can only be pursued if they actually occupy a string, tawag na nila dito, string of pearls in the South China Sea. That they should have bases all throughout, operating in the different islands there, and they need to occupy certain specific islands in order to lay bases for that claim. So ang Ayungin ay kasama po dyan. And later on...
So kahit maliit yan, may strategic value yan sa dalawang bansa.
Yes, by the way, if you remember, ganun din ang nangyari sa Scarborough Shoal noong 2012. If you try to extrapolate that...
Na malapit lang sa Zambales yan, no? Very near Zambales. In fact, fishing territory ng mga Zambales fishermen.
Yes, ang Scarborough Shoal o Bajo de Masinloc ay pasok din sa 9-dash line na yan. So, this 9-dash line will extend all the way up to Taiwan, and the only way for them to complete control of all of that entire region is to occupy all of these islands.
Okay, I have to bring up a couple of items lang. So, the elephant in the room or in this entire region is the United States.
Yes.
No? Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng military alliances is para meron tayong kakampi, no? Pagdating dito sa mga malalaking confrontation katulad nito. Pero so ano ba yung tutulungan ba tayo ng Amerika? Sa ngayon, mukhang hindi naman sila kumikilos, no? Kasi they have a lot at stake also pagdating sa relasyon nila sa China. But ano bang maasahan natin sa Amerika?
Okay, I will answer that by way of discussing 3 agreements that we have with them and their recent policy pronouncements. If you remember, we have a 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with the United States, which calls for the U.S. to aid us in case of an attack on our mainland or an attack on our government personnel or government vessels. Okay? And then meron tayong Visiting Forces Agreement na pinirmahan nung late 1990s that calls for an increase in joint exercises with the Americans. And then lately, nitong nakaraang taon lamang, pinirmahan natin ang Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, which is an executive agreement.
Yung EDCA.
Yung EDCA. And this calls for the prepositioning of certain equipment and personnel of the U.S. on a rotating basis. If we take all of these documents together, ang pinaka-anchor talaga dito ay yung Mutual Defense Treaty. So, it's not up to us. It's actually up to the US to interpret if an attack
Kung kailan sila mag-i-intervene.
Yes, if an attack already calls for their intervention. Now, which leads me to their recent policy pronouncements. Nagsabi ho sila na they will have a pivot to Asia Pacific. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean na ang kabuang puwersa nila ay dadalhin nila dito. It just means that they will realign some of their forces to Asia. Now, how does this bode for us? Ang tinitingnan ho natin dito, ang sinasabi ng US, pagdating ho sa mga disputed territories, ang kanilang papel ho is non-intervention. Bagkos, ang gusto ho nila ay maging third-party facilitator. Kung gusto nyo pong pag-usapan yan, we are willing to give you the forum. Ang problema ho kasi, pag maritime ang dispute, medyo wala hong moral ascendancy ang Estados Unidos. Bakit po? Hindi po sila signatory sa United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. So what say do they have? Telling countries like the Philippines and the China, who are now signatories, itong dapat yung gawin. Ito ang mga mungkahi namin. Ititingin siguro sa kanilang China, saglit lang, pumirma ka na ba? So I think...
Anong K mo, in other words? So I just want to bring up one last thing. So in other words, in some respect, we're really left to our own devices. Therefore, we need to build up our own military, our own navy. Pero as we know, sa ngayon, a big part of our military is focused on Mindanao. No? Kasi mukhang alanganin ngayon yung peace deal. So, and then there's now a conflict with the BIFF. And we don't know what kind of involvement the MILF will be there. No? So, you think, I mean, this creates more urgency to wrap up the peace deal in Mindanao para makafocus tayo dito sa mga external threats na to?
Well, we were operating under that presumption before Mama Sapano happened. And we were hopeful that sa pamamagitan nga nitong BBL, one of our internal security problems would be solved. Yes, giving us more wherewithal sana for the AFP to shift to external defense. But kahit may ganun ho tayong pananaw, hindi rin ho natin pwedeng isagasa at gawing mabilisan itong proseso ng pangkapayapaan sa Mindanao because a lot is riding on it, not just giving the MILF autonomous government. So kahit nandyan po ang ating objective na yan for peace in Mindanao, we still cannot abdicate our role to secure our external borders. So yun nga po ang tinitingnan natin dito sa West Philippine Sea. Mabanggit ko lang, Howie, the situation is not that hopeless. Kaya nga po tayo naniniwala that an honest-to-goodness assessment of the situation, now that the circumstances on the ground are changing, dapat magkaroon ho tayo ng reassessment. And we should review all our options because there are still available options to us. What these options are, I think they are best left to our President as advised properly by the National Security Council.
Okay, I'm afraid we have to wrap up. But in other words, we're in a way back to square one, facing generally the same internal threat. Hindi pa na-resolve. At the same time, there's a growing external threat, a very, very big challenge to our leaders. Maraming salamat, Magdala Party List Representative Francisco Asidillo. Thank you.